Hey, it's Tom with the Roadster update. So, figured I'd just do a quick update for you guys so you can kind of see what some of the progress that's happened. I can't remember, I think we had in the other video, we did have the motor out of the car, but I don't think it was quite as pretty as it is now. We're still going to do some paint work on it, so don't mind the kind of rotten paint job on it. Valve cover has been polished, although I am the first person to admit we sort of did a quick polish on it. I could have spent a lot more time on it to make it look a lot better, but I think it looks pretty good. Still doing some more polishing. You can kind of see that the polish on the thermostat housing there could use a little bit of work. It's still kind of rough. First stages, basically. I also have been kind of taking each component off, like the oil filter housing, and using a Dremel to sort of, with a wire brush on it, to very carefully clear all the crap out of it because it was exposed to the elements. And then, I know I didn't mention this in the other video, I don't think I had even discovered it yet, but we finally found a name for the car. It sort of named itself. We're going to call it the Mousetrap. And the reason for that, this, which is the fuel pump housing, or hole, sorry, that was the front door to a mouse house in the oil pan. A mouse got in through this hole. The fuel pump was there, but it was kind of hanging a little bit. It was loose. Whoever had the car before hadn't tightened it up. And there was enough of a gap that a mouse got in and made a home down in here. So I had to clear all that out, and I have been very meticulously pulling mouse poop and bits of cotton and stuff that he used to build his nest out of the brand new engine. You could say I was a little frustrated by that, but it's a good story, so yay! Then as far as progress on the car is concerned, doing some rust repair down in here. I've got a little patch panel there that I still need to do a little bit of final fitment to it so it fits really nice. And then I'll weld that up. Then we're going to strip most of the paint out of here. I don't think we're going to take it all the way down to the sheet metal, but we're going to at least scuff it up so that it'll be nice and have a good surface to hold on to. And it'll be getting treated with POR 15, which is just super durable stuff. It resists rust. It's hard to hurt, so it'll all be nice, shiny black in the engine bay. We're already most of the way done through the treatment of the side here. You can see we've got it all the way down to the sheet metal. Still have some work to do down in these crevices and stuff. Let's see if I can get a light on it. There we go. Yeah, so there's still a bit of stripping that needs to take place. In the process of stripping, and this is why we do this, we've discovered rust. There and there. And then some rust along the top. And then I'm doing the same treatment to the floorboards. You can kind of see they're all stripped down to metal. And of course, we've discovered rust all the way through. You can kind of see my hand back in there. And then the biggest hole is right there. So I need some work. I need to do some work in here. So then we'll strip the interior down, probably again, not completely down to the metal, other than, and obviously what's already metal. And actually Nissan had this insulator right in here, kind of like a super ghetto ancient version of Dynamat. And they put it directly onto the sheet metal and then painted on top of it, so it wasn't painted. I'm sure it saved Nissan a ton of money. Kind of pissed me off because moisture, of course, got in and seeped along all the edges, and of course it's all rusted down in here, and this panel right here is welded. You can kind of see it's spot welded. I don't know how you see. You can see all little spot welds. And I'm sure you can see moisture got underneath this and it's rusting down there, and I can't get into it. It's, a 1/4 of an inch. I could take this panel off, but I don't think I'm going to do that. So we're going to use some rust converter on there and see if that'll help. And then POR 15 over that. And then use some real Dynamat, the new good stuff, and do some sound deadening in here so the car will be nice and quiet. I'm sure it's not a permanent fix. If I really was going to worry about it, I'd be cutting all of these out and taking care of the rust completely and properly patching all of this. We'll be patching this, but it's probably going to be a little bit of a ghetto job. I'm not terribly worried about it. You can't see it. I mean, it's going to have PR15 and then Dynamat, so instantly invisible at that point, and then carpet put over that. You'll never even know it's there. Function over form. We'll make it so it works. So a lot of work left to do. I've got the dash out of the car, as you can see, because you can see how bent this is. The windshield frame in this car, when I bought it, was extremely damaged. You can see it's really mangled there. And if you stand back, it's like, whoop, it's got a bit of a peak to it. It looks like something happened, I don't know what, to crush the windshield frame. You can see it's really pushed in bad right here, right? And then someone tried to pick that bend out with a cherry picker. So, one of these things over here. And it looks like, you can kind of see gouging. They wrapped a chain around this. These people were geniuses. And then lifted and just made a mess of it. So, had that not happened, it wouldn't be such a big deal. So, I've removed the dash, and then we're going to be cutting this out. So, this is a part of an assembly. You can kind of see that this tube goes all the way up, and then the joint is in this area. And I've got a parts car, which is actually the car that fender came off of. It's a 68 2000 that is a total rust bucket. But somehow, that windshield frame in that car survived. So we're going to cut the windshield frame out of the red car and splice it into this car. High Tech Automotive here in Greeley, Colorado, is going to be doing the work. They are incredible. They do a very good work, so they're gonna do that for me. And then let's see, what else can I show you? Plans. So we're no longer doing a frame off restoration. Time is of the essence here. I've got my deadlines here. This car needs to be drivable on June 5th. That gives me about 22 days to essentially work out all the bugs. June 27th is when Helen and I are going to get married, and it needs to work by then. So here's our deadlines. So today is the 25th. So I'm running out of time. I have about 15 days. I need to get the engine completed. Then the windshield is going to be repaired on, it's going into the shop on the 17th. It'll probably be done, they said, sometime around the 20th. We're going to paint on, or we want it done. The paint needs to be finished by April 15th. Originally, I was going to paint it white. Admittedly, today, I kind of started tossing the idea around of doing it silver. It sort of gives it a James Bond-esque look. So we'll see. I have a little bit of time to figure that out. But in any case, it is going to get professionally painted. Sherwin-Williams paint. Really, really good quality stuff. I can't wait to see it. In any case, sorry about the garage being a complete disaster. We're trying to work in a very small space, as you can see. And we have a crazy deadline. It's been very hard. You may be wondering, how is it that you've only gotten that little amount of work done? I mean, it doesn't look like very much. Well, a bunch of reasons. Aside from the fact that we just got through all the holidays and that's, a lot. Busy, busy, busy. I also was trying to work in this garage. It hit negative 20 something, maybe even negative 30 something here in Colorado this year. And I was trying to work in the garage, and heaters, and all I've got is that little space heater thing, and then, of course, that little space heater thing. They're all right. They'll warm this place up, but not at negative, whatever, 20-something. It was freezing in here. Those things were running full blast, and I couldn't even crack 0. So, obviously, could not get anything done. So immediately went out and insulated the garage door. Did the styrofoam insulation and then insulated the outside as well. Insulated the window. Then we added, my great friend Scott added new circuits to the fuse box so that we had 15 amps in here. Never even considered this as being a problem. 15 amps would actually run all the lights and the welder. So I was like, sweet, that's all we need, right? Wrong. 2 people with an angle grinder would pop the circuit. Hell, sometimes 1 person with an angle grinder and the lights would pop the circuit. 1 person with the heater running would pop the circuit. I popped the circuit like 7 times. So my buddy Scott came over and we added 2 20-amp breakers to the fuse box. It had room. And so we've got 1 there, and then those 2 outlets are on their own dedicated circuit. So we've got now combined 55 amps, and we can divide it all up. So we have heaters and lights on one, and well, actually 1 heater and lights on one, another heater on another one, and then whatever we're doing on the other one, just to split it all up so we don't break or blow breakers. And it works. So the garage needed an enormous amount of work just to get it to the point where we could, work. And I told you about the mouse incident. That kind of slowed me down a little bit. And then the other thing that a lot of people don't really take into consideration with one of these cars or doing any restoration on any car, outrageous amounts of research needing to be done. Not just planning what you want to have done to the car and what products you plan on purchasing, but how to apply those products and the parts list that I needed to assemble to figure out what I was going to need to do to this thing is huge. It's astronomical. And I'm not even done. And the amount of money it's going to cost. By the time this is done, I'll have thousands of dollars invested into this car. It's crazy. And all this on top of normal life. It's slow going. The good news is, I think we've reached our tipping point to some extent. Most of the research is done. The garage is now in a place where we can work. Although it may not look like it. I do need to do some cleanup. I clean the garage. It lasts for about a week, and then just over the progress or process of working on the car, it all goes to hell. So it's kind of a rolling mess. But in any case, we are starting to really make some progress now. So hopefully the next updates will be slightly more interesting. The last video I said, we're going to have more interesting updates. This one was boring. Nope. There are probably going to be a couple more boring ones. But that's okay. It'll start getting interesting at some point, I hope. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry for the length. Please like and subscribe. And, of course, this will be kind of fun to watch develop. So hope to see you around, and leave me a comment if you have any ideas for me, or if you think I'm an idiot for something that I'm doing, or if you just want to say good work. Thanks.